The running bowline. Hello everybody, welcome back. And today's little knot, what's Johnny learnt today? Well, today Johnny has learnt how to tie the running bowline. And so what I want to do today is I'm going to show you how to tie the running bowline. For those of you who don't know about the running bowline, I believe this knot is mainly used by arborists, tree surgeons to us plain speaking people. And the idea is it just forms a nice cinching knot around a branch or a heavy object. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it has to be for the arborist world, but it forms a nice noose or cinching knot around an object, and it's very, very secure and will actually allow you to lower or raise a hefty piece of item. But because it's made with using the bowline, this particular knot is very, very secure. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you today a few variations on how to tie the running bowline. So we'll get onto that in a second, but please, as you watch this video, if you enjoy it, please thumbs up. If you hate it, please thumbs down. But the one thing I would just ask you is leave a comment and tell me why you either upped or down, okay? And also, if you want to get more of these videos in future, hit the subscribe button and you will be notified each time I knock out a new video. So let me just untie this and then I will see you on the other side as quick as a flash, and we'll get on and tie the running bowline. Right, so the first way of tying our running bowline is to actually tie the bowline knot itself. So let's just take our cord, and what I've done is this side here is my standing end and this side here is my working end. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to tie the bowline knot. So all I do is go over like so and form a loop in my knot. And for those of you who like to follow that little story, basically we've created a hole for our rabbit. And this end here, this piece here is our rabbit. And the rabbit runs up through the hole, around the back of the tree. Do you know, I never understand why he goes up through the hole and then round the back of the tree and back down again. But anyway, that's what he does. So basically our rabbit comes up through the hole, goes round the back of the tree like so. That's the tree, our standing end there. And then he comes round and goes back down through the hole, and we then pull up tight on that. And you can see there now what we've done is we have tied a bowline in there. And what we can do then is get our standing end and pass our standing end through our loop or noose that we've created there now, and you can see now we have got our running bowline. So that is tying the running bowline using the bowline knot. So let me show you that again. It's slightly more labour intensive than the next ones that I'm going to show you, but it is worth knowing. So what we do is we've got our standing end here. There's our loop at the top. Go out to the picture slightly and it comes round to our working end here. And so the first thing that I do is I take my cord and I form a loop over the cord like so. So basically the cord is going round and then over itself like so. I then take the working end and I pass the working end up through the hole like so. Take it round the back of my standing end and then down through the hole. So in other words, the rabbit goes up through the hole, round the back of the tree, and then back down through the hole again. And you can see now, just doing that, we have tied our bowline. We then take the standing end of our bowline and pass it through the loop that we've created here. And you can see now we have a noose or a cinching knot here for holding our work. And so that can be now secured around something, and that is really, really tight. So that is one way of tying the running bowline. But if, say for example, you've got a lot of cordage here, you do not want to be feeding hundreds of feet of cordage through that hole to create your running bowline. So let me show you another way of tying the running bowline. So I'll just untie this and I'll see you again on the other side. Right, welcome back again. So here we have, this is our standing end, this one here, and this is our working end, this one here. And what we do is we tie our bowline exactly as we did before. So first of all, I'm going to go round and create a loop over there like so. Now that we've got our loop, it's going underneath itself and then over itself. We've got our rabbit here, okay? But instead of going up through the hole this time, all we do is we take the rabbit over our standing end, so it's passing over our standing end like so. It then goes underneath the standing end again. And now that we've done that, I can now continue to tie the bowline as we would normally. So that it basically, the working end goes up through the hole, it goes around the back of our standing end like so, and then comes down alongside itself through the hole. And you can see here now, I have now tied my running bowline around the actual standing end itself. So there was no need at all to feed all our cord through. So let me just show you that again. So basically we have our cordage like so, standing end, working end. And the first thing I do in my working end is I create a hole so the cord goes round over the top of itself. Now there's my working end there, and all I'm going to do now is take the working end, pass it underneath my standing end like so, just keep it all in shape, and then now that I've done that, I pass it up through the hole that we've created, go round the back of my standing end, back down through the hole following the lead down where it came up, pull it up tight, and you can see now here we now have a running bowline created that way. So just another way of tying the running bowline. And what I'll do is I will untie this and I'll show you another way. You will have your own favourite way of tying the running bowline. It doesn't matter which way you do it, but you will have your favourite way and you will stick to that. So if I show you a few variants, then you'll be able to choose the one that's best for you. So just untie this and I'll be back in a sec. Right, so here I am again, exactly the same as before, standing end, working end, but this time when I create my bowline, I'm actually going to tie a Marlin Spike Hitch first. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my rope over like so, and then fold it over again like so. So let me go through that again slowly. I'm going to go, let's see, can you see that? No. Okay, going to go over like so, and then over again, so we end up with that shape. I then dive down there and I grab that middle piece, just grab that middle piece and pull it through. Excuse me. Okay, the next thing I do is take the working end and I pass it underneath the standing end, and then I bring it round and pass it through that loop that's sticking up like so. There we go, pass through the loop that's sticking out like so. And the next thing I do, this is very, very easy now, I get a hold of the cord there, the standing end, and then I run my fingers down through like that, and you can see that as I do it, the knot is collapsing on itself, and there we have it. We now have a bowline. Let's see, pull that to one side. We've got a bowline with our standing end running through it. So we now have a running bowline done that way. So let me show you that again. Let's undo that. So what I'm going to do now is this. We have our standing end, our working end. And the first thing I'm going to do is go over once, like so, and over for a second time. And then once I've gone over for a second time, pull that bit through that's showing there, just move that up a bit, pull that through there like so. I'll just tighten up on it so it doesn't come undone, that's it. And then what I can do is I can take my working end and I pass my working end underneath the standing end, comes back and goes through that hole. There we go. And then we can adjust how much we want through that hole. So I want that much through there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just get hold of the top of my standing end there and run my fingers down and just pull and allow that knot. You see that knot start to collapse on itself. Allow it to collapse on itself, and you'll see as it collapses, it forms a bowline. And there we have it. We've got a bowline and our standing end is going through there. So we now have in effect a running bowline. And that's using it via the Marlin Spike Hitch. I love the Marlin Spike Hitch. It just makes everything so much simpler. Okay, so that is another way of tying the running bowline. Okay, let me show you in another way. I'll just undo this and I'll show you another way. Right, so I said I'll show you another way of tying the bowline, the running bowline, sorry. And the purists, the bowline purists, are going to get upset with this one. However, you can do it this way as well, because it turns into a cowboy bowline, or I believe it's also called a Dutch bowline, because they think it's a little bit more secure than the standard bowline, but there is a big argument about that. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to tie my Marlin Spike Hitch. So we go over, so it's going round and over like so, and then over like so. I then pull that middle through. Now, this is where this one differs. In the last one, I went round, underneath, around, and then through that way. But I'm not going to do it that way this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the top of my rope, bring it underneath my rope like so, and then this time I'm going to pass it through the other side. So I'm passing it through this side of my loop, and then once again get hold of the top, pull down here, allow it all to collapse on itself, and you can see now here what I've done is, if I sort that out a bit, I've tied a bowline, but this time the bowline is a cowboy bowline, or I think it's also called a Dutch bowline, because that working end is on the outside of the loop as opposed to sticking on the inside there. However, once again, it is in a sense a running bowline because it will cinch up on something and pull it tight. If I just put my arm through there, that is holding it very, very tight indeed. Okay, so let me show you an even more secure method of tying the running bowline. So I'll just untie this and I'll get back to you. Right, so sometimes when we're doing our running bowline, we want a really, really secure knot there. A bowline is a secure knot, but to give it additional security, what we can do is put a stopper knot in our cord before we tie it. You can put it in after if you want, but I prefer to put it in before we tie. And to do that, all I do is I fold the cord over like so, fold it over again like so. So we've got our Marlin Spike Hitch again, and just pull that little tag there through like so. Now that we've done that, I take this cord, I bring it around the back of my work, pass it through that loop that we've just created there, and then pull up nice and tight on that, and we end up with a nice, fairly symmetrical, clover-shaped stopper knot in our cordage like so. Right, so here's our cord again. Here's the stopper knot that we put on previously, and what I'm going to do is just bring my cord around like so. So this will be my standing end, and this will be, let's see, standing end, working end. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie, this is my favourite way, I love using the Marlin Spike Hitch, and so first of all put a loop in like so, a loop in like so, and then just pull that middle bit through there. Just put some more cord around there. Now, this is where we now have our choice. If you do want this so that your cord ends up in the middle of the loop, you go through that side. If you want your cord to go on the outside of the loop, you would take your knot through that side. So just make it a little bit bigger to pass my knot through. So my first choice will be, I'm going to go and have this knot here on the outside of my loop. So I'm going to go over my standing end like so, bring it under like so, and then bring it up to my work there. Now, the next thing I want to do is pass this knot through that loop, which we can do quite easily. And then once I've done that, I just get hold of the top of my standing end like so, pull down on my cord, and then as I pull down, you will see that we end up here, in this particular case, turn it over, you can see here now that we have got our Cowboy or Dutch bowline, I think it's Dutch, I'm not sure, somebody tell me if it's called a Dutch bowline, with a stopper knot in it, and we've got our running bowline going through here like so. So let me show you that again the other way, but we end up with the stopper knot on the inside. So here's our cord with our stopper knot already in the end, and what I'm going to do is just lay it out like so, so it's up there like that. Standing end, working end. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to create our Marlin Spike Hitch like so. So basically just go fold, fold, pull up that loop like so. Give some extra there, and then just lock that in place. And then it's at this point here we decide whether or not we want our cord to end up in the middle or on the outside. And as you know, if I go through that way, it'll go on the outside, and if I go through that way, our knot will end up on the inside. So the next thing I do is I go underneath my standing end like so, go around, bring the knot through, and then just gently pull down tight on that, and you can see now we now have a bowline with a stopper knot inside the loop, and there's my running hitch there. If there's a little bit of a jump in the film, it's not because I made a mistake, it's someone disturbed the maestro whilst he was trying to show you how to knot. So anyway, as you can see, what I've done here is the stopper knot is on the inside of our loop, but it is more secure because if it tries to come undone, it's just going to come against that and it's not going to come undone at all. So there we have it. We have, I love using the Marlin Spike Hitch method, but what we've got here is we've got a stopper knot, we've got our bowline, whether this knot ends up on the inside or the outside of the loop, I'm not sure it makes a massive difference, but somebody please, if you're watching this, tell me if a Cowboy bowline or a Dutch bowline or the standard bowline, if one is stronger than the other. If you know that, give me a comment down below so that I know as well, because there's always arguments about it, and I can see there's going to be arguments about this one on the site as well. So anyway, that is basically doing a running bowline. So once again, thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't, but tell me why, and then I know. And if you really liked it, please share it so others can see it, and leave me a comment and tell me about your experiences, whether it's with this rope or anything else. Just let me know. And that is the end, and the clock's just chimed telling me it's the end. That is the end of the running bowline. Okay, so once again, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.